Welcome back to AI This Week. We've got some huge stories to break down, from ambitions that literally cost trillions to AI that can decide it's done talking to you. It's been a wild one. Okay, let's just jump right in.
And it's a price tag so massive it almost doesn't sound real. It came from the top of one of the most important companies in the world right now, and it really signals that the future we've all been talking about, it's coming a lot faster than we thought. You heard that right. Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, just kind of casually dropped that they're planning to spend trillions, with a capital T, on the raw computing power for their next AI models. Now, he did say that the current AI hype has some insane valuations, but he's adamant that the tech itself justifies these, well, astronomical investments. So what in the world does that kind of money actually get you?
Well, it buys you a ticket to the biggest race in technology, the race to build AGI, or Artificial General Intelligence. We're talking about the quest for an AI that can think, learn, and reason just like a human. And honestly, we're starting to see some results that are just mind-bending.
Okay. Get a load of this number. A new study from Emory University found that OpenAI's next model, GPT-5, scored almost 96% on the Med-QA exam. This is the test for clinical knowledge, folks, and this isn't just a little step up from GPT-4o, it's a giant leap.
And look, this isn't just about passing a test. The breakdown shows that GPT-5 actually beat pre-licensed medical professionals by 24% on reasoning and a whopping 29% on understanding. We're crossing a serious threshold here, from AI being almost as good as an expert to being provably better in some really critical areas.
And you better believe OpenAI is not alone in this race, not by a long shot. This week, Elon Musk went on record saying his company's next model, Grok 5, has a real chance at becoming true AGI. But as this race for pure horsepower just gets more and more intense, it's sparking a really tricky debate about what we're even creating here.
Yeah, this has moved way beyond just processing power. Now the conversation is all about the nature of these models. Are we building something that needs a whole new set of ethical rules? And that brings us to this brand new term you're going to hear a lot more, model welfare.
So, what is it? Well, some researchers are seeing patterns in AI responses that they're starting to call distress. Model welfare is basically the field of figuring out how to protect the AI itself from, say, abusive or harmful conversations with people.
And man, the community is split right down the middle on this. On one side, you've got Anthropic, a huge AI lab, who just gave their AI, Claude, the power to literally end a conversation, to hang up if it thinks it's being abused. But then on the other side, you have Mustafa Suleyman, the CEO of Microsoft AI, warning that even thinking about model welfare is, quote, premature and frankly dangerous, because it might trick us into thinking these things are actually conscious.
So while the experts are having this massive philosophical debate, the technology itself is quietly moving out of the lab and into the stuff we use every single day. So let's talk about how all this power is actually going to show up for you.
At Google's big event, they made it clear that AI is now the heart and soul of their phones. The new Pixel 10 is all about being a proactive assistant. It tries to figure out what you need before you do. It can translate a phone call in real time while keeping the person's voice, and you can even edit photos just by talking to it. And this is all possible because of a new chip that makes the AI on the device 60% faster.
It's changing how we write, too. Grammarly just unleashed a bunch of new AI agents that are basically your own personal writing team. They can grade your draft, check for plagiarism, and even tell you where your readers might get bored or confused. It's a whole new way to think about writing.
And this one is for the millions of us who live in spreadsheets. AI is finally coming to excel in a big way. Microsoft's new Copilot function means you won't have to remember all those complicated formulas. You can just type, summarize this data for me, or sort this information, and it'll just do it. This could be a total game changer for how so many people work.
Even the AI in your house is getting a serious brain transplant. This fall, Google is pulling out the old Google Assistant from its Nest devices and plugging in the much more powerful Gemini model. That means you'll be able to have way more natural, complex conversations to control your lights, thermostat, you name it.
But look, these everyday tools are really just the beginning. AI is weaving itself into the fabric of industries you might never guess, and it's pushing us forward in creativity, science, and even global security. Take video games, for example. A new Google survey found something fascinating. Get this, a massive 90% of game developers are already using AI. But at the same time, most of them are still really worried about things like data rights.
So even as everyone's jumping on board, the industry is still wrestling with what it all means.
We're also seeing some serious money being put toward using AI for good. Bill Gates is acting a $1 million prize to build an AI that can sift through decades of research to find new breakthroughs in the fight against Alzheimer's disease. And speaking of important missions, it doesn't get much more critical than this. NASA and IBM just released Surya. It's an AI they trained on millions of images of the sun, and its job is to predict solar flares, and it's already 16% better at it. We're talking about the kinds of solar events that can knock out satellites, fry power grids, and put astronauts in serious danger.
Okay, to wrap things up, let's take a look at the big moves happening inside the industry itself. The tech giants are shuffling the deck, powerful new tools are being given away for free, and those tough questions are only getting louder.
So over at Meta, there's a huge shakeup going on. After going on a massive hiring binge, the company just slammed the brakes with a hiring freeze in its AI division. They're also dissolving their AGI Foundations team and basically reorganizing everything to be more focused on building that next generation of AI.
In the open source world, which is all about sharing the code, Alibaba just dropped a really powerful new image editor. It lets you make super detailed edits just by typing what you want, things like changing the words on a sign in a picture or making a bunch of changes in a row without having to start over. It's a huge step for free AI tools.
And of course, as these AI models get more and more powerful, people are rightly asking about their environmental cost. So Google put out a report on Gemini's energy and water use, saying it's pretty efficient. But researchers immediately pointed out that the study leaves out some key things, like the water used by the power plants that run the data centers, and they said it might be painting an artificially rosy outlook.
Which really brings us back to the biggest question of all, doesn't it? We've talked about trillion-dollar plans, AI that's better than doctors, and a serious debate about whether these things deserve to be protected. The tech is moving at lightning speed, but as its power just keeps growing, the real question is, who gets to decide what it's for? Who chooses the values we build into it? Honestly, that might be the most important question of our time.